Hello, everyone. So today we're going to be looking at World War II from the side of the Pacific. We talked about Europe last week. This time, we'll be looking at primarily the Japanese aggression across the Pacific and Asia. So prior to the beginning of World War II, Japan had attacked China as well as many other territories over in Manchuria and along some of the islands. Um, Japan at the time was trying to build its empire. And unfortunately, as you can see here from the map right here, Japan is a small island. They don't have that much natural resources such as coal, steel, iron ore, oil. So they needed to expand themselves in order to get those resources. And the way they can do that is by gathering and conquering lands around them, primarily over in China, Indochina, and here in the Pacific. Before the United States had entered the war, they had remained neutral, meaning that they didn't pick either side. They weren't on the side of the Germans, nor were they on the side of the Japanese, nor were they on the side of the French or British. However, though, the president at the time, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, did see Germany as a threat. So he decided to help the British. He would help the British by selling goods such as military supplies, food, ammunition, anything to help the British war effort. He ended up doing this by creating the Lend-Lease Act, which allowed Britain to borrow money for US from the United States to buy these certain goods. So not only was Britain getting supplies from the United States, but they're also getting cash loans to buy these supplies. Now, by doing this, the United States had upset Japan. Japan wanted to keep expanding their empire at the time, but the US had colonies in the Southeast Asia as well, where Japan was expanding. In order to basically tell the Japanese, hey, stop trying to get into our territory, FDR, the president, blocked the Japanese from getting money from American banks, and they also stopped selling resources such as oil. Oil was a very important resource to the Japanese so that they can expand their empire. Now, we get into the actual beginning of the war over in the Pacific. On December 7th, 1941, the Japanese had bombed the naval base of Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. It was a surprise attack, and nobody from the United States had any clue that it was going to occur. The Japanese had destroyed many battleships as well as planes. Over 2,300 soldiers, sailors, and civilians had been killed. This caused huge outrage in the United States. The American people were upset and they wanted to go to war with the Japanese and get revenge. In doing so, the United States declared war on Japan and finally entered in the war against Germany and Italy as well. So let's take a few minutes here. Let's take a look and listen at Franklin Roosevelt's Declaration of War speech. So we can see and listen to FDR's reply that at this point it was an all-out war. There was no way to go around this. They needed to respond back to the Japanese aggression. So here we have some images from Pearl Harbor. One of the most famous images that we have here on the left side is the USS Arizona. There is still a memorial to this day in Hawaii, in Pearl Harbor, that you can still visit to this day. We also have right here a Japanese airplane going in and attacking one of the battleships as well. So one of the main strategies that not only the Americans but also the Japanese had implemented in the Pacific was known as island hopping. So this primarily was used by the Americans, but it's just basically a strategy in which the countries are going from island to island and capturing key islands in order to make their way over to Japan. So again, we have the United States all the way over here, and in order to get to Japan, they needed to have supply routes. And the best way to do this is to capture islands on the way, kind of making like a little daisy chain. Some of the major battles in the Pacific. One of the major battles that became a turning point was the Battle of Midway. This basically turned the tide for the Americans. It stopped, for the most part, Japanese advancement in the Pacific. They couldn't get any further. It also put Japan on the defensive and the U.S. on the offensive. They were able to do this primarily because the Americans were able to break the Japanese codes. They would send codes to one another in ships, and finally the Americans figured out what their plan was. But one of the key features of this battle, however, was the usage of aircraft carriers. And again, as we look at Pearl Harbor, there were no U.S. aircrafts destroyed during the attack of Pearl Harbor, which ultimately saved the Americans and its naval fleet in the Pacific. Another major Allied victory was Iwo Jima. The United States, again, needed bases near Japan. This way they can have bases set up so that they can have supplies as well as airfields. It was an amphibious invasion in which 23,000 Japanese soldiers had defended the island. And the way to defend the island was that they made caves, they made tunnels, and they were very hard to find. One of the key characteristics of this battle, however, is that there were very little Japanese captured. The Japanese were told not to surrender, and because of this, almost all of them had perished in the battle. And then finally, we have here also Okinawa. It is the last and biggest battle of the Pacific of World War II. Had involved almost 250,000 of U.S. soldiers and about 100,000 Japanese troops. And again, they needed to have airfields established in the Pacific in order to be able to reach Japan. Once they had Japan, or once they had airfields close to Japan, they were able to bombard them nonstop and relentlessly. And then finally, Japan becomes desperate. Most of Japan's Navy and Air Force had been destroyed, and Americans' bomber planes were able to reach the mainland Japan with ease because of this. But with Japan being relentless and did not want to surrender, they decided to go on suicide missions known as kamikazes. These pilots would get into their naval planes and essentially launch themselves into aircraft carriers or any battleships, and they were loaded with explosives, effectively turning themselves into a flying missile at the time. Okay, so this will be all that we'll talk about today in regards to the war in the Pacific, and we'll be discussing more during the week.